Hey, I'm Tony.
And I'm Jeremy.
And you're watching Ronincast, episode 4.
Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and your comments do dictate what we will talk about on the channel next. So if you want us to talk about something specific, please let us know in the comment section below, and we will answer your question.
And speaking of such, today's comments from the last week's video. So Lemmy Walnut 94 asked if you guys play video games, what's your favorite game, and favorite console.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So I'm a very big Battle Royale first-person shooter game.
Yeah.
I do play PS4, and so I love playing... Right now I'm playing Warzone a lot. I love playing the Resurgent Squads, and so... But I do play Battlefront 2, Star Wars, and I did play the Spider-Man PS4 game. I was a big fan of that as well. And I did play Warzone with Jeremy a while back.
I used to play a lot of those first person shooter games. I mean, I started with PlayStation 3 and like Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, I think it was, or I think
BO2,
and all that stuff. And then I got a PS4 and was playing Warzone with Tony. But just because of college and everything, I've stepped away from video games and everything just to kind of be more productive. You're the only one of us, though, who has actually owned a PlayStation and an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though you've had experiences with both, do you still choose PlayStation over Xbox?
I think, for some reason, I grew up with Xbox a lot. Like, I went to friends' houses, and they had the Xbox 360, and they had the original Xbox
Halo.
too. And then Halo, And so, I played Halo a lot back in the day. And then even BO2, I played on the Xbox 360. And so, I've kind of migrated to PS4. For some reason, I like it a lot better. I've actually bought my own PS4 recently because I moved out and all that jazz, and so I've leaned towards that because I like the controller better.
Really?
Yeah, like it's form-fitting, I guess, to my hand.
Cool.
And then I like the compatibility with just how it's set up. You know? And not
sorry,
bad.
Xbox lovers.
Sorry, Xbox lovers.
PlayStation.
But if you guys want to possibly play with me, comment and let me know. I'm not.
What do you want me to? We could just put your gamer tag.
My plugin. Yeah.
We'll just put that in the description.
Yeah,
hit him up. Play Warzone or something.
Yeah.
All right. Next question we got from Jackson Wilson, and he said, will you two ever consider doing podcasts live? I'd love a chance to drop you guys some super chat donos and interact with you guys in real time. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much. That's really, really sweet. And I mean, goodness, that'd be cool for donos. But as of right now, I think we're just gonna try to not do them live right now, just because we don't have necessarily all the equipment to do it live
or such a big following.
True.
I think we want to do it originally when we wanted to start this channel. We wanted to do it all live, and we wanted to just answer questions and do that. And we thought we'd have a bigger following in the beginning. Because it kind of panned out that we didn't, not yet at least. We're gonna hold off until we do, and then we're gonna go live with those people as well. And not to say that you guys aren't important. We do appreciate all your likes and comments and
plus,
stuff.
if it's something that we can actually film prior and then edit, it makes the end product, I think, better, because you're not going to put up fun graphics and stuff and make them more edited videos. I think it's just better. But then also, just because our schedules are so crazy, he has, the Ronin Sabers business, and I have a job and school and everything, so we don't always have time at the same time to go live like every week. We don't have like a set aside time that we could possibly go live every single week. So sometimes we film these in the beginning of the week, sometimes we film them like the day before this video drops.
If we did go live, it wouldn't be as consistent as the channel now.
And that's the only thing that we were kind of worried about. But that was a good question though.
But when things free up and
we'd love
without college or
to go live.
We definitely will. We definitely will set up something like this where we can answer comments and so
that we could do stuff live. I think that's a lot more fun. And that's the end goal for sure. Yeah. But as of right now, we just can't do it.
So keep following, keep commenting, grab your friends, bring them along, and then I think we'll be in good shape, and then we'll go live
sometime soon.
Let's see. The next one is maybe for upcoming shows. Talk about movies or shows you're interested in, like Loki, Batman, Mando season 3.
Yeah. Who said that?
That was Whiteout 221. So
very great.
I appreciate that, and I think that's going to segue
that's
into
gonna be
our discussion,
our main topic. So we're going to be talking about the Loki show by Marvel on Disney Plus. So far there has been 2 episodes that have dropped, and just so you know, this is a spoiler warning. I mean, we will be talking about everything in the show, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it first, because it makes it better to watch it than just to hear little pieces of it here and there from our opinions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first off, well, let's talk about the production, exactly what was going on there. So, Loki is the third TV show to premiere in like I guess a consecutive row for Marvel, and it's very interesting to see that like April and May, not May, March and April, both had WandaVision and the Falcon Winter Soldier, and we had a break in May, and then only for it to jump back in June.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting that Marvel did that, and I think the reason why is because of Bad Batch, and since they're all Disney oriented, they decided to kind of have Bad Batch be the May TV show that everybody was hyped about.
And that's why, they have Bad Batch coming out on Fridays, and then they have all the stuff for Loki coming out on Wednesdays.
Yes, so they
can just be different.
They moved Loki's premiere from Fridays to Wednesdays, and so every Wednesday comes out a new show, which is actually very smart.
Yeah, so they're not stepping on each other's toes.
And so you get double viewership technically if they want to watch Loki.
Hopefully,
one day of the week, and then Bad Batch.
They don't have to wait as long. Kind of, they get a couple different shows they can watch at the same time, which is nice.
But yeah, so first episode.
Yeah,
a lot of things introduced, a lot of recap that for most Marvel fans.
The thing is, I don't know. It's just the show definitely. I could tell from episode 1 it wasn't what I expected it to be, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I don't know. I kind of feel a little underwhelmed with kind of where it was going, because I expected it to kind of be more of a fun, like whimsical, like what would have happened if Loki would have been free during that whole time, and so I thought we were gonna essentially be able to over the course of the show. Watch, from the first Avengers movie all the way up to Endgame, the Loki version of like, he would be
kind of like a Deadpool
messing
type.
up people, maybe like killing Spider-Man before Tony Stark could like recruit him, or would he kill Thanos? Would he acquire all the Infinity Stones before Thanos? Right. I mean, I was like, this is gonna lead to some weird stuff, and I was really excited for like kind of I assumed it would be mass chaos,
but no, they introduced the TVA,
which was something that I didn't expect, and I'm not really sure if I like. I don't know. It's a fun concept, but I just feel like it's boring compared to what I expected it to be.
What it does is it creates kind of a paradox where we've seen everything that's conspired, and we see people that are bad, that have died, that are good, that sacrifice themselves, and all this other stuff. And the TVA, the timekeepers, could have stopped or could have prevented.
True.
And so and the Infinity Stones, first off, in that first episode, it's a huge mind, boggling thing, because it's like, well, this was there the entire time. If they just moved them into their perspective universes, they could have had all these Infinity Stones right then and there.
Yeah, I think it's funny that they use them as paperweights, but also at the same time, it's kind of dark, or I don't know if necessarily dark, but it's interesting,
almost nihilistic in the idea that nothing really matters, that the timekeepers keep it. If
you don't have free will,
right?
It's already been pre-chosen what you will do.
Well, I feel like
with your
that's
life.
why in the timeline it like varies. It's like a wave of water that stays like at a certain temperature type of thing.
Pretty close.
And so, but because you still have free will as long as it doesn't dictate, horribly off that.
You have free will as long as they find it acceptable.
Right. As long as it's not deviant to your character type of thing, And so that's why
which isn't completely free will then.
Right.
It's
not
like
entirely.
It's like stay in your lane and you'll be fine.
Well, it's like an archetype. It's like
you're put into a box. I mean, so you have a little bit of space, but you can't think outside the box.
Right. It's like this is your character type.
Yeah.
And it's like acting in a movie. You play a character and you
can't change.
You can't have your own, like as an actor, you can't input your character in there, or else it variants too far.
Yeah.
And the idea of variance too is very interesting.
It's interesting. I like that there's multiple. Well, obviously, if they're dealing with time, they're going to be dealing with potential other universes, so obviously they've come across many different versions of Loki.
And the first episode too, it threw up tons of stuff at you. It multiverse, all this jazz, and how that works, and divergent timelines, and all this stuff, which was hinted at in Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah,
but not exactly, confirmed like this is where they're going. And this is kind of supposed to set up.
Yeah,
multiverse.
But it's just it's so strange that they're like, let's have beings control it all. I don't know if I like. It's weird. I don't know. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of twist that because like it seems like the three timekeepers. It's kind of almost like a taboo topic in the TVA where they're like, oh, have you seen them? Like of who actually gets FaceTime with them. And so I'm like, part of me is wondering like
if they even exist.
Well, one, they either don't exist and it's all BS and this is some kind of thing, or I think it's like watch it be like, there's timekeepers and it's 3 different variants of Loki.
or it's like it's kind of like a Tenet thing where it's like they have yet to form the timekeepers they have yet to become
but
the timekeepers.
But they know the timekeepers will exist, and so like.
Right.
And so they're keeping them on the timeline so that their time leaders.
It eventually the 3 people that are chosen that know enough.
But they have to stick to this story in order for those 3 people.
Because
to
there's a theory that Loki is one of the timekeepers.
Yeah,
Morbius is one of the timekeepers, and then somebody else. They don't know who the third person is. The third person is going to be a timekeeper.
Yeah. Oh, that is one thing. I like that you brought up Morbius. Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I don't know. I never thought I'd see him in a Marvel show.
Same.
I mean, I'm not. I think it's funny. Just wow. Ka-chow. Just that's all I could think of. I just can't take him seriously.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. The only thing his hair freaks me out.
It's a more serious role. His nose kind of freaks me out.
Yeah. Is that prosthetics or did
I don't
something
know if
happen
that's
to
meant
Owen
to
Wilson?
be, or if that's just how his nose is.
I can't tell.
But the light, it's so weird because normal movies you don't see it because the lighting's all normal. With
Maybe
this, it's very crude shadowing, so you get to see the dent in his nose all the time. It's very weird.
Yeah,
just something I noticed that keeps like.
Oh yeah, I know. I see it all the time. So I wasn't sure if I don't know. Is that his nose?
Somebody let us
know. If it is,
know.
I guess we're.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But so episode 1 kind of throws up the whole thing. It gives you a recap of Loki's entire timeline,
which was cool, and I did like that. Even though this is Loki up to 2014 in New York, I like that.
2012.
Is it 2012? Okay, sorry, 2012 in New York. Yep, sorry.
Get your timeline straight, man.
I know, I'm sorry, but it's cool that he was still able to then see his whole future per se, or his acceptable future.
Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting.
Well, we got to see a side of Loki that we haven't seen before. We got to see
potentially
him, cry. We got to see him react emotionally.
We've seen that.
Not real though. If he did it, it was fake to get something that he wanted. You know.
I think the one time he was actually emotional, but he actually put up a thing to hide it because he didn't want people to know he was emotional. Was after his mother died and he was in the cell and he couldn't do anything about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we've kind of seen that side. And again, I think, Tom Hiddleston does just an amazing job on just the acting side of everything, because that's the thing. With Loki, half the stuff you just don't know, okay, is he lying or is this a gambit? I mean, even just simple conversations, you have no idea what his motives are because he does like to always think that he's 5 or 6 steps ahead. But half the time, I think it's just an act that he likes to say that he's 5 or 6 steps ahead.
You have to kind of think about, like, the retrospect. In Thor's hindsight, too, now, he's kind of this character who's a caricature in itself, where he's like, he has one role, he's powerful, he's kind of stupid, it's funny.
And the thing is, I like how they did point out, what Morbius or Owen Wilson's character, he even pointed out, like, the amount of times he was able to come back and, like, escape death or do these big tricks to, and so I almost wonder if this show is setting up to be, like, his best trick yet.
His best trick yet.
So, like, he dies after, he dies in Endgame.
Right.
Watch him come back. I mean, you think they may let him enter the timeline?
Marvel, no one
after
really.
Endgame?
In Marvel, no one really dies. Let's be honest.
I don't know, but like, I wonder if they will let him, like, as he goes through things, and even if he does meet the timekeepers or whatever, I wonder if they're like, there's some potential threat, or even something that they know may happen later in the future, like, but having this Loki in the timeline may not be terrible. So I don't know. Would that break the fabric of the universe?
But also, what happens if
they implement more people in?
If the multiverse is going to happen, how do the timekeepers react? Do we actually get to see the timekeepers then?
Well, or was the multiverse something that the timekeepers deemed necessary in order to keep the main timeline going?
Right. Is this a necessary?
Again, it's just this weird mind
chaos.
F of, like, I don't like that someone's controlling everything, like, time-wise. Like, they're like, the best thing on this timeline, let's have Thanos kill everyone.
It seems to be like Phase 4's, like, whole spill now is, like, the Eternals. Like, have you seen the Eternals trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, we've waited, we've rested and watched this entire time, and now we can do something. It's kind of like that, too. Like, the TVA the entire time is just sitting there, and then when the multiverse happens, they're like, all right, now we got to kick in and do something.
Well, they've been doing stuff, like they said, in the background all the time. It's just you don't know they're doing stuff unless you deviate.
Right. And so that was kind of the first episode.
Yeah,
where we got
so let's get into the second one, which I'd say the second episode is significantly better than the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we basically picked up where we left off. Loki is now working for the TVA, or is pretending to work for the TVA.
I think he literally even says it's old Gambit. He's just trying to he's trying to just smooth talk his way out of the situation.
It's such a trip because you want to believe the best in Loki. Then Owen Wilson's character is always like, does he know? Does he not know?
And that's why they keep showing the emotional side of him, because they want you to, like, vouch for him.
The show is called Loki.
You want him to turn. You want him to be a decent human being, but he just always has to kind of be a little turd.
It's kind of like in Thor Ragnarok. It's like, you will always be you, the god of mischief type of thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, he knows that. But so he's lying and deceiving his way through stuff, and they're hunting down this variant
of Loki
who is killing other
was it Minutemen?
Minutemen.
I love that title, Minuteman.
Okay.
Imagine a superhero called Minuteman. He could be like indestructible, have any power for like a minute, and then he's worthless. It'd be so funny.
Yeah. But and they have cool little weapons and stuff like that.
That's the one thing that was kind of cool, is that they don't have magic or anything, but they have technology, and the technology is based on the Infinity Stones.
Well, is it actually technology, or is it just power granted to them by the Timekeepers?
Well, the thing is what was Nick Fury said in Thor, where like magic is just like in technology, but like understood or something like that. Something like that. But like this is where like the Timekeepers allow this amount of technology in this amount of time to deviate the variants to be able to manage them.
Yeah, but essentially there's another variant of Loki from another alternate universe.
And the funniest thing to see
killing people
is when Owen Larson's character Morbius
Owen Wilson.
What did I say?
Owen Larson.
Who is that?
I
That's
know.
Owen for Star Wars. Owen Larson.
Oh yeah. Lars. Yeah.
Lord. Okay. Morbius's character is showing all the variants of Loki, and it shows like a very fat one. It shows like a soccer player one. And it showed like all these deviants, which I thought was so funny.
And then like the satyr one.
Yeah.
The like buff satyr.
Yeah.
That was funny.
And it was so funny because it's just like, huh.
Yeah, and then of course they kind of copied Bad Batch, and were like, what would be a really funny twist? Let's just clone him, but as a girl.
Yeah.
That's Omega.
That's the reveal for episode 2, is that at the very end of that episode, you realize that I was expecting exactly Tom Hiddleston. I was expecting the exact carbon copy, maybe like scarred or something.
Yeah, I was expecting some like deformed Tom Hiddleston, or like some like big-headed, like massive brain Tom Hiddleston, like from like Thor. Green Lantern or something.
Right. But no, it was a female Loki.
Yeah, which was fine. It was cool. I liked her little crown. It was like a dumbed down Loki horn thing. I don't know what you'd call that. But I thought it was cool. Definitely fun. I liked the cloak. It definitely was very Jedi-esque.
The powers are almost more WandaVision-esque.
They're
Scarlet
straight
Witch.
up WandaVision. Yeah, because the whole controlling people, and the fact that she can. Is she controlling someone, or is she like putting her essence into them?
Right.
Because
Loki also was talking about how like copying himself versus a projection. And
it
all
looks
that jazz.
like she's like controlling them while she still has power over her actual body. Because we see her as the different mall clerks or the Minutemen guards,
pedestrians,
going people. And she's like cycling through those people to freak out our timeline Loki. And but we also then see her walking around and setting all those charges. Which is interesting. So she had been attacking all the Minutemen and then stealing their, what are they called? Like the reset charges?
Yeah, reset charges.
The time like reset charges, which essentially disintegrates everything in a certain radius.
The idea itself is these time capsules have the Infinity Stones power, so you can change reality, power, all the stuff that Infinity Stones can do, but within these capsules. And so that's why you see them changing color, because depending on what color that is what stone they use.
Really?
And so the whole disintegration part is the Power Stone, because you saw what Thanos did on the ship, right?
Yeah.
And disintegrated the entire ship. Well, that's what it's doing, but on a smaller scale, and it's controlled. And so. Thanos, again, in that sense, was using it for personal gain. With this as a community thing, so a lot of people have pods, and that's why Loki stole it.
Yeah.
The one thing we don't know is where he was sending those pods to, in that episode.
Yeah. So they were all being activated in the mall, and then they opened up because the thing is, she's stolen a lot of the Minutemen's technology, so it had that cool, I don't know, like teleportation, I guess, device or whatever, and she was sending them all over. And then again, we saw then at their main headquarters. All the lines branching
the timelines branch off.
The main timeline, which is genius. I mean, obviously give them so many threats that they can't deal with it, so that something hits the red line, the chaos zone, which, okay, what happens then?
I feel like it's almost like,
is it like
peak temperature? You can't go back, you know? It's
so
like
then maybe that's what causes
multiverse.
the multiverse, just because we get into some crazy crap, and then maybe they have to somehow figure out how to then re-harness it back down to the main timeline. So maybe that's what will happen for the next. Maybe that's for the foreseeable future of Marvel.
Time moves differently in the TVA. So if they do break the timeline itself,
and it's in multiple different time periods,
right?
So history on a whole will be completely changed
unless they're able to reset it. And the TVA still has control over
potentially.
It. But that's, again, timekeepers, assuming that they are able to have their full power, and then the TVA does, and the Minutemen and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They can.
Again, and also I think it's interesting, we don't completely know girl Loki's motive. Mm-mm. And also, it sounded like she didn't like being called Loki.
No.
So I don't know if that was just like a fun little lie, because she was...
Right, possessing someone.
Yeah,
or projecting someone.
She may not... I assume to same thing with like Baby Yoda and the Grogu. I assume just to make sure that there's no confusion, I assume they're gonna give her some kind of variant of the name Loki, so that we can
Loki.
so we can change between Loki and a girl's version name of Loki, maybe, so that, you know, we can talk about it in one conversation without it being confusing.
But the weirdest thing is to me is that I could see Loki falling for Loki. I'm sure that's gonna be a topic. I'm sure it's going to be a topic.
Please don't.
He falls in love with himself.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so effed up.
It's going to happen. And
Loki child.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I feel like that's some, like, Sweet Home Alabama stuff.
No.
Oh, my lord.
But it's alternate timeline, so it's just...
But it's still you.
It's a different person, though. You're that
no.
role. It's like two actors that play the same role.
We're not doing this.
Okay.
Nope.
Anyway.
Why is this in the video now?
You're welcome.
Oh, God, don't think about that.
Just an idea to think about.
That's going to make some weird Raylo fan art kind of stuff, too.
I'm sure it will. I think it already has.
It's probably the same
I'm pretty sure people have already done that. But yeah.
Why?
And so it ends with Loki.
Yeah, so it ends with Loki.
Loki had, like, a decision to make.
Yeah, so all the stuff went haywire, and Owen Wilson's character comes running in with a lot of the Minutemen, and girl Loki's, like, out, you know, bye. Like, I just caused a lot of
She didn't
trouble.
tell Loki to follow him.
She just opened a portal and left,
right.
and kind of left it open. It was just kind of an open-ended, like, invitation of, like,
it's
hey,
your choice, you know.
But that's the thing. Did she leave it open as, like, a, hey, you know, if you want to come help me, like, I'm down. Like, you know, I'd always like to have a partner in this game.
Loki offered, though.
Well, Loki offered, or is she, like Loki always is, multiple steps ahead, knowing she was going to meet him, knowing he was going to work with her? Is it a trap?
Maybe.
Is she leading him to a trap?
Teleported to something else, someplace that he doesn't want to relive, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. Because the thing is, it sounds like, I mean, the whole question is, who's the superior Loki?
That's so funny.
And we don't know yet.
I love that so much. It's like in Invincible with the superior clone.
Yeah.
Who's the clone versus who's the
original? Real clone? Yeah. But
time back last episode.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, I feel like them working together is too ezy. I feel like that can't be it.
Well, again,
that's too easy.
And
they could never trust each other. That's the thing, because they both know that they're both so manipulative.
Two chaotic energies do not make a neutral.
It won't work. It won't work. And plus, again, it's the whole fight of
who's superior.
Who's superior? So they'll just be fighting over who gets to, of whose plan they want to do, and it's.
What I thought was very interesting was the idea that in catastrophe events, in disaster events, there's no timeline things. There's no variance. There's no
because I mean,
energy.
Like I thought it was so. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's not too soon, but for some reason Pompeii just hit me. I was like, no, why? But it makes sense. It makes sense. I thought that scene was hilarious. Of him just causing mass chaos during
right before
because
actual chaos.
It won't change any course of history because they're all going to be wiped out anyway. So you could go. Yeah, I mean, if he wanted, he could murder everyone in that city, and no one would be the wiser because that city would still be engulfed with ash afterwards, which is an interesting concept, and that's a perfect place for girl Loki to be hiding.
Also makes you wonder, Marvel's taking the future, because it showed us 2050.
Which was great.
So, which is kind of cool. Not much changes, which...
We had holograms, which I think we've been predicting that since the... Okay, every time we see that, I'm like, we've been predicting holograms since... I mean, I know New Hope had them, but I'm sure I'm sure instances before 1977. But, like, it's 2021. where are the holograms?
Right.
Are they coming?
I'm sure they've been working on them, but it's laser stuff. But no, I thought that was cool. That I thought it'd be kind of cool to see like 2099 because that's a Marvel year that's really cool. It has Spider-Man 2099, Hulk 2099. Yes. That universe in the Marvel Cinematic wise, that's a good way to figure that and jump to that era.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they'll do it in this series, but it's kind of cool to think about it. And there's tons of Easter eggs in there where I think they passed it or mention it or whatnot.
Yeah, I like that. Or for all we know, I mean, since they've done time traveling before, I mean, who's to say that in the multiverse that Spider-Man 99 or whatever, I mean, if they have technology to go through time and everything, they may know, hey, back in this day, we need extra help. So they may show up in the multiverse kind of episode, which, I mean, has that been confirmed, I think, right?
What?
The Spider-Man multiverse thing may happen with all the...
with
Tobey Maguire and
here's my take on it. So they said that they're coming back in Spider-Man No Way Home. This, I think, is a false rumor. Because they were like, Andrew Garfield's on the set, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure that's a false rumor. Because I think they're actually coming in Doctor Strange Multiverse.
Ooh.
So,
would that be much of a twist, though?
No, it's not. Well,
it's not really a twist.
Well, it is a twist because it's not in a Spider-Man movie. But the director, Sam Raimi, which is the same director as Spider-Man, so it makes sense because he knows the character.
I guess.
He's Spider-Man. And so I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be in the Spider-Man movie. No. I think it's going to be in the multiverse movie.
That makes sense. So, it'll be in the multiverse movie?
Because they're filming back-to-back. A lot of them have, because they're films right after each other. They're direct correlation.
The thing is, I think they may be blowing it a little out of proportion, if the rumors are true, that they're going to be, having the other Spider-Man from the other universes in, and the other characters of whatever. I think it'll be some little funny thing that they do with you know how Doctor Strange, he had that in the first Doctor Strange, he had that room that would change scenery, so it's like a forest or then a desert or something like that. Watch it be something like he's looking into a mirror and he's just scrolling through and then he just sees all these different Spider-Man. So it may be only a couple seconds of each one.
It could just be a cameo.
Yeah, it could just be purely just for a funny scene.
But the thing is too is that they confirmed Alfred Molina for Doc Ock. They also confirmed William Dafoe, and it's how are you supposed to incorporate those characters into it? Unless they're individual characters, like J.K. Simmons came back.
It could still...
They could play the same characters in that universe.
Exactly. They could just do it because they couldn't imagine anyone else playing that role.
Which is gold.
Which I agree with.
Yes, beautiful.
Or, again, it could still just be cameos.
Mm-hmm. So
in those timelines. Because they could just see... they could just see those Spider-Man fighting their villain.
Right. So we'll have to see, but
I'm excited for it.
It does make you wonder how they're going to end Loki in the sense of a good stepping off point for the next movie.
Actually, so speaking of that, so let's kind of wrap it up with, what are your predictions? I know it's all over. It could literally do anything just because they're manipulating time and everything. What is your kind of prediction of how Loki will end?
Yeah.
No. I'm asking you.
Oh! I thought you were asking them.
I mean, sure, you got let us know, but I'm asking you. What do you think? What do you want to happen?
I think in the end he dies.
Ooh,
I think that's it. But I think that the other Loki, the woman, I think she is the one that creates the stepping point into the Spider-Man No Way Home. And I feel like the reason
she causes the chaos,
and the reason why we have Alfred Molina and William Dafoe in the Spider-Man thing is because those little things that she set off. Added those characters into the wrong timeline, which means Doctor Strange has to get involved in his movie. But the thing is that to Tom Holland's character, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, these characters are just villains that know Spider-Man, that know he's him, and so...
they also know Peter Parker.
Right, so they're going to know normal Peter Parker, so they're going to come at him as normal characters in that universe, even though...
they actually know all the Peter Parkers.
Right, but even though they're not in that universe. And so it's going to create people that we know that were like, oh, yes, but Peter's going to be like, who the heck are you? I don't even know who you are. And so
it'll be a really good
and so I think that's what will probably happen is that Loki will die either self-sacrifice or either make it right.
You think it'll be a self-sacrifice?
I think it'll be a self-sacrifice.
Really? I think Loki, a noble end?
I think he will finally choose the right path and die. And then we'll be like, well, that's the third time, and then we'll leave it there. But it'll have to be good. It'll have to be really, really cinematic. It'll have to be impactful. Because there's a lot of Loki fans out there, I think.
I mean, obviously, if he has his own show, I want it to be on the same emotional level as when Black Widow's death. Like that one, just. I mean, if you didn't cry, I don't know why. It was so good.
Guilty.
So good, and the soundtrack for it is just absolutely fabulous.
But yeah, what are your predictions?
I don't really know. I mean, part of me is fine with Loki dying at the end, but also part of me kind of wants me to. I kind of want to see him either smooth talk his way into being re-entered into the timeline, or finding out that it's all BS and that the TVA is some weird hallucination, or I don't know,
so
something funny. Like watch the whole show be.
Well, watch him become a timekeeper. That's what I'm really thinking.
Or that, or something. But I don't know. I just, because he was such a fun character. I wouldn't mind seeing him back in movies. He was fun.
Imagine if Loki was directed by Christopher Nolan.
Ooh,
that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be pretty sick.
It's literally his ballpark.
Oh, also,
it's time.
Yeah, sorry, just complete random side thing. I thought it was really funny whenever he did first. And it was like the very episode 1. Whenever he took the Tesseract and he like got blooped into like a desert and like flew across, like such an Iron Man 1 moment. Did you like see? And then he even like takes the thing and throws the piece. I was like, it's mimicking Iron Man 1. Yes, that was great.
That was so funny.
So good. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. It can go in so many ways, and I wouldn't. There's multiple endings that I'd be fine with, but I have a feeling with just how far off the show went from what I expected. They're not done with twists, and I have a feeling that both of our predictions will probably be wrong.
Based on WandaVision's ending and Winter Soldier's ending, there haven't been any type of similarity between any of them. So I doubt Loki will. I'm sure Loki will follow that pattern and kind of give us a brand new ending or something. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure something else will come up, and we'll be like, okay, there's maybe a bigger thing we need to be worried about than what happens to Loki.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, also, we didn't talk about Peggy Carter possibly making a little cameo. The girl in the blue dress. Did you see that? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
So, people were speculating that she's a variant because when Steve goes back in time, he tells her too much, and so they had to reset her. And then, yeah. But then, like, it fixes the timeline because then she knows nothing, and then they talk to Steve. And it's like, but yeah, so she makes a cameo in the first episode. She walks and is talking to a Minuteman. I don't know if she's in trouble or she's a variant helping her.
Didn't see that.
But yeah, it's when he first gets walked in by the officer. There's another one.
Don't do that. Not Peggy.
Yeah, so either she's a time variant that's helping, or she's getting reset. So.
She's probably getting reset. Yeah, that makes sense because Cap definitely destroyed the timeline there.
Right, which I thought was really good. Loki was just like. If I'm a variant, then so are the Avengers and all this other stuff.
Well, I think that was good. I think that was just the writers being self-aware of what the fans would say.
Right, and so
but
good. I think that's kind of it when talking about Loki.
Yeah, it's been okay so far. I mean, it's kind of fun to talk about the manipulation, but so far, I don't know. It just, I mean, episode 2 I think made it a lot better. But after watching episode 1, I was like, eh. Episode 2 was significantly better, and that gave me a little bit more hopes for the show.
Yes.
But we'll definitely do a final video on once the season is done, and kind of see how. We just wanted to make
sure we had an early prediction, and then like completely destroy
those
once we finish. I have a
hot feeling we're gonna be way wrong.
Oh yeah,
but it's okay so far.
If not, pro status.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I think that kind of wraps it up. Yeah, so please again like, comment, subscribe, and leave comments down below of what you want us to talk about next, and we'll see you in the next video
on Ronincast.